Hi, welcome to the first week of spring. In this video, we're going to talk about spring inspiration for style, activities, and all the things I'm looking forward to this season. Hi, I'm Megan or Maggie Mouse, and I share how to live a magical lifestyle wherever you are. This is my third video in this seasonal series where I talk about like my inspiration for the upcoming season. We're going to talk about kind of three different categories: style / home, media, so that's like movies, books, TV, etc., and also kind of like a bucket list category, which is more so like activities or trips or anything like that that are more like experience-based things that I want to do this season. So let's get into it. I actually want to start with the style / home category, and I'm definitely leaning more towards home this season. And the first item is something I'm really proud of, even though it's not necessarily about me, but this is the Denim Coffee Company Cloud Face blend, and this is the Artist Series collaboration with Kyle Confair, who's a Philadelphia-based artist, and Denim Coffee Company is a Pennsylvania-based coffee roasting company. And if you don't know, Kyle is my husband. So he partnered with Denim Coffee to create this custom limited release bag. And the really fun part about this was Denim Coffee, those folks sent over a bunch of different samples of their of different roasts for him to try, and he took me along with him to on that journey to pick out which beans would be the Cloud Face blend. So it's actually technically not a blend, but it's a single origin Sumatra, and it's a wet hold processed method. So it has notes of dark chocolate and cedar, and for me it's like a really, really well-balanced cup. Like, it's not a super dark roast. I would say this is kind of more like a medium. I'm not sure where it lives on like their scale, but for me, this is like a medium roast, and it is so good as like, I really enjoy it as like a regular drip coffee as opposed to like espresso. For me, this is more like a perfect drip coffee blend. So it is available right now through Denim Coffee Company. So I'll put the information here on the screen. Also in the style and home category, I actually wanted to talk about the Bath & Body Works Disney Princess series, or not series, collection. You'll see on my bagoo here, I have the Cinderella carriage, which is the hand sanitizer holder. So that's been really handy to have on my bag. And I also am burning the Belle candle here. And I would say those probably ended up being my two favorite scents from this collection. And they're the most floral, I think. Like the Belle one is very heavily like rose scented, and there's something about rose scent things that make me think of like Y2K era fancy homes. And what I mean by that is, like, you know those friends whose houses you would go over to when you were little and they had like maybe like a fancier house than you did, or you perceived it that way at least. This scent reminds me of that like floral scent that their homes smelled like. That is so specific, and I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but so there's something like oddly comforting about that, and I love being able to make my apartment smell like that. So that's going right now, but I will say it's kind of more of a warm scent. I don't know how well it would go, for me at least, into like summer, but for spring I'm really enjoying it still on like a floral theme. Theme is the word I'm looking for. And then the Cinderella one is also very floral. I can't remember what this is, but I would say this is more like, I don't know the right, more like a lily scent, like a bouquet floral smell rather than like a rose floral smell. The day I was shopping for these, which was I think release weekend, which was over a month ago now, I couldn't really pick on the scents other than the Belle candle. I had to live with the scents a little bit before I knew which ones I really liked. So I ended up getting all the hand sanitizers. And so as I've kind of been able to use them a little bit and like live with them a little bit more, I still really like the Belle scent. I really like the Cinderella scent, those two floral ones. And then the other one I really enjoy is the jasmine one. And For that one, I would say it has more of like a I'm terrible at describing scents, so I don't know why I started doing this, but for me, it's the most like mature of the scents, and maybe the most like unisex of the scents. Like, it has some, I don't know if it has like patchouli notes, but it's giving me like that vibe of scents, which I love. Anyways, so yeah, the jasmine scent I really like, and actually if they still have this collection, I would really enjoy a candle of this, I think, because I think it would be a nice room scent. So let me know if you got anything from the Disney Princess collection at Bath & Body Works in the comments, or what scent was your favorite. I do wish they had done like all the princesses. Like, for instance, they didn't do a Snow White, and I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity given the new movie. But maybe Bath & Body Works didn't want to be associated with that. I don't know. Anyways, so that was next on my style/home category list. And then the last item for this category that I wanted to talk about was actually this little beauty here, kind of still on the Disney Princess theme, but this is my CD player. And I have been wanting a CD player for a little bit now, and I wanted specifically like a crappy CD player. And what I mean by that is like the boombox style CD players you could get for like, I don't know, $15 in like the 2000s. Because I still have most of my CDs from like my teenagerhood, but I don't have a CD player at all to play them other than in my car. So I was really excited to get this, and it works pretty well. I didn't say, but I got this on Poshmark, and I'm really happy with it. It does exactly what I wanted it to do, which is play CDs in like a crappy quality, nostalgic kind of way. And yeah, and it's just really cute. So it's making me really happy. This is like the setup behind my desk, so I can work from home right here and play like CDs as I'm working. So that is making me really happy right now. And so now that will bring us into kind of the media category, where we can talk about movies, books, music, etc. And that's because one of the CDs I've been listening to on my CD player is of Montreal's Sunlandic Twins, and this is current and like topical at the moment because it's the 20th anniversary of this album. It came out in 2005. So they just did a re-release, which I don't have the physical copy of, but I've listened to on streaming. They did a re-release of this that had some like additional tracks, and it's just very nostalgic for me because this came out when I was a teenager. I got really into this band, I would say, when I was around like 16 or 17. Even though this had come out, I think, when I was 15, but I wasn't into them yet. Anyways, too much information, but Of Montreal's Sunlandic Twins was a really important album to me as a teenager, and I'm really excited that it's getting like recognition again in that way. Also in this category, I wanted to talk about a book that is being re-released for its 20th anniversary. And if you know me at all, you probably know that my favorite book genre to read is, I really like memoirs in general, specifically like anything Disney related memoirs. So like Imagineering memoirs, or yeah, mainly that, or, you know, animators or things like that. But specifically this book that I wanted to talk about is one of Michael Eisner's books. Obviously, you know, he was CEO of the Walt Disney Company in the 80s and 90s into the early 2000s. He was the predecessor for Bob Iger. And they're re-releasing his book called Camp, which I've never read, but it's a memoir specifically about like his young adulthood when he would go to summer camp, and like lessons learned that he took with him through like his business, like career and life. So yeah, it's probably more like a business adjacent kind of book, but again, I really like memoirs. I've actually read Michael Eisner's, one of his other books called Work in Progress that he wrote, I don't know, I want to say late 90s also, or early 2000s. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And also in the media category, I wanted to talk about TV and movies. I actually didn't plan to talk about this, but as I have started recording this, I'm like, I can't talk about TV and not talk about Severance right now, because that show is like my everything. So the finale of Severance was this past Friday, as of the recording of this. So I'm just like 4 or 5 days away from seeing the finale, having seen the finale, I should say. And it's definitely weighing on me. I don't want to like add any spoilers or anything in case folks have not caught up. It's really good. So you should watch it if you haven't already. And then on the TV and movies category, I did have this on my list to talk about, which is the Lilo and Stitch live action that comes out in May. I think generally we're all kind of experiencing fatigue from the Disney live actions, and kind of the general feeling is that like they don't need to exist. And I do kind of agree with that, even though I've experienced joy from some of them, and obviously some are better than others. I don't know that any of them need to exist, but since they do, I am excited about seeing this one because I mean, Stitch is adorable, and the animation style of Stitch, even though this is live action, the animation style of Stitch looks really cute. Yeah, so I'm just excited to see what they do with it. And yeah, so that will wrap up our media category. So when I talk about bucket list items, I'm talking specifically about experiences. And this coming month, or towards the end of March right now, this coming April is going to be extremely busy for me, but in very good ways. So my family lives in Texas, and they have planned to come up to Alexandria, Virginia, which is in the DC metro. So that will be, it falls over like Easter weekend, but that will be like a long weekend for all of us in DC. So we're staying at an Airbnb together. So we're going to experience Alexandria, Old Town, and some of the museums in DC. So I'll try to vlog some of that. But before that, I actually just found out next weekend I have to go to Palo Alto, California for work. So that's just going to be a quick couple of days in the San Francisco Bay Area, mainly for work, but I think I'm going to be able to do a couple fun things, so I might try to vlog that as well. At the very least, I'm going to try to do like work trip packing videos because I really enjoy packing videos, as you know, and I'm trying to get better at doing those types of videos because, like I said, I really like watching packing videos, so I should create the type of content I like, right? And then this week, actually tomorrow, at the time of recording this, tomorrow my friend Tori, she lives in Los Angeles. She was like one of my best friends from when we were teenagers. She's coming out tomorrow and staying for like 3 or 4 days. And the reason being is that we are going to go see of Montreal. So they are doing kind of, I guess it's kind of like a 20th anniversary for this album, even though they've put out tons of albums since then. But we have not seen of Montreal, I think, since 2010. We did the math last night, we were texting. And I think this would be our 4th time seeing them together. So I'm really excited. I think the first time we saw them was 2007, then 2008, and then I think 2010. So this will be our 4th time seeing them together, and it should just be really good, like a really good nostalgic weekend. And we're gonna try to do some things outside if the weather cooperates. It is spring in Philly, so it's beautiful outside, but it is still a little chilly, and the weather has kind of gone back and forth. We have this thing called fake spring. So I think we had fake spring and now it kind of got cold again. So we'll see how that goes. But altogether, I'm really looking forward to April, and I'm hoping I can just like ride the momentum of all of these activities and not get too burnt out, because they're mostly really fun things. So let me know in the comments what you are doing this spring season, what things you're getting into, and like what the weather is like in your area. If you would please give this video a thumbs up, and I'd be so appreciative if you should decide to subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.